Welcome to Politics NY with Skye. Behind the curtain, we are with Keith Tubbs. He's a lobbyist at Capalino, and he and I first met how long ago? Maybe 7 years ago when you were working at 32 BJ.
Yeah, 7 years ago, we were doing some canvassing on Long Island for Esposito, I think.
Yeah, that state Senate race. Another year when the Democrats got creamed.
Yeah.
But now you're at Capalino. We just saw each other at SOMOS, which was this amazing political conference. It was my first time there. Had you been before?
It was probably my fifth or sixth time going. So
what did you think of this year compared to years past?
This year was a lot more people. It seemed to be a little bit more energy because a lot of us, well, nobody got a chance to go last year. So I think a lot of people were excited. You know, we have a new mayor, so a lot of people wanted to see what's going on. And there's actually probably going to be an interesting governor's race and interesting AG's race. So there's a lot of folks down there.
It was really
fun. To mix and mingle.
It was so nice to meet some of the new city council members. I had met them all on Zoom from interviewing them about their candidacy, but to meet them in person was just so amazing.
Yep. And you interviewed almost like every single candidate, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I know. Awesome. So a lot of them, we were able to recognize each other right away, like crossing the street or at the hotel or mixing because we met on Zoom, but it was the first time meeting in person. So it was really cool.
Absolutely.
So you're now at Capalino and you represent some cool clients, and I'd love for you to share what some of the priorities are with these few organizations that you represent.
Yeah, so one of my clients' name is Runback Election Services. What they do is they kind of administer different election services. Two of the election services that we have particular interest in is online petitioning and online voter registration. So we will be kind of beating down the doors in Albany, hoping to get some sort of legislation and get get a bill passed to get these two very important issues for just in general, right? Because a lot of people may not feel comfortable going back to in-person, filling out a ballot or filling out some sort of voter registration. So we're going to be looking into that, working with some of the legislators up there, and hopefully working with the governor's office in order to get this passed.
Yeah, I mean, not only from the pandemic, but I just think the way that the world has moved forward in the digital space, it just would make so much sense, and it would be so much more convenient to be able to do these things online.
It would be much more efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, much more efficient to say.
So what do you think the timeline, could you get that passed this year?
I mean, hopefully. I do think it will be an uphill challenge. A lot of folks still, have some concerns. They want to know about the authentication process. A lot of people have a lot of power in some of the patronage systems, with a lot of the county parties. That's the way that they give out jobs. They raise a lot of money, and they want to make sure that, they have as much say in the petitioning process as possible. So we'll see, but I'm excited, and I feel good about it. We have some good folks that we're talking to. And hopefully we can get some sort of campaign going with some of the advocacy groups who are advocating for some election reforms.
It's a fun job, working in this industry, putting all the pieces together, figuring out the players and getting something accomplished.
Absolutely.
And another one of your fun clients, I always see their Instagram ads, Go Puff. So tell us what that is about.
So Go Puff is a digital convenience store where you go online and within 20 minutes, somebody comes and delivers you something. So they've recently, within the past 6 or 7 months, they've came into the New York City area. So we've been having a lot of conversations with some of the politicos, just making sure that their zoning, when they get in these new spaces, that they meet the zoning criteria, and making sure that they know who the elected officials are, and the elected officials can kind of get to know them and the services they provide, whether through jobs, whether it's through, empty storefronts that they may be utilizing. And they'll have some, some of it'll be like a CVS or a Walgreens or a Dwayne Reed, but they'll have some fresh food options as well in some of their locations, which is very exciting.
So it's through an app?
It's through an app, absolutely. But you will be able to go inside, and they'll have like these sort of like iPad kiosks that you can go to and actually go inside to kind of get some and not have to go through the app. So it'd be pretty convenient whether you're walking on the street or if you're at home and you just need to get something kind of conveniently delivered.
Is there any pushback for bringing something like this? Because it sounds convenient. So who's the opposition
Yes,
of
right.
this?
You have a lot of folks and who think that these will be pushing out some of the local bodegas, but I mean, as we've seen through the pandemic in New York City, particularly in Manhattan, when you walk across the city, you know, you see a lot of empty storefronts, and you know, these type of services are going to be popping up, and we want to make sure that, you know, that we have some relationship with folks in the city, and we're able to talk to them. So if they have a problem, or if they think that there's something that needs to be done better, or, you know, if they just want to say, hey, we think you're doing an amazing job, we want to make sure that we have those relationships with them and kind
Mhm.
of be able to continue the conversation of how GoPuff gets better and how they integrate into the city.
Yeah, it takes a specific type of person to work as a lobbyist, like someone that can think of all these pieces and build the relationships. And I wonder, Keith, what's your story of how you got into this industry to begin with?
So I started off in 2006, actually in St. Louis, but I'll just kind of fast forward my story a little bit after that. In 2012, I got hired by 32BJ, and I was doing some work for them out in Philadelphia, kind of running all of their political programs in Pennsylvania. And then in 2014, they asked me to move to New York City. So came up to New York City, sort of ran their legislative programs for a program called 421A, which is a tax break or a tax abatement in the real estate industry. And from there, I went on and became the chief of staff for Assemblyman Latrice Walker. Then I went on to do some stuff with Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. I was a senior advisor to him. And after that, I've been with Capalino the past 2.5 years.
Yeah. Wow. So I didn't even know you had those jobs in between the last time that we
Yeah,
worked together and now.
yeah,
But it's cool to meet other like-minded people, and millennials were taking on over becoming CEOs and leaders and elected officials too. So it's a great
absolutely.
time, a great time to be in this industry. So thank you. We look forward to hearing all great things with your clients and from you. And thanks for being part of Politics NY with Skye Behind the Curtain.
All right, thank you for having me.